Welcome back, friends. In the last video, this was a little bit crazy, but we also had a lot of fun. So we made huge progress regarding to our trainer, but we also encountered some things we do not know right now. And this is something we will learn over here. At the moment right now, we do not know how to call a method or creating a new instance that has an instance as a parameter. But this is something we will find out right now. So let's have a look. Okay, so here we are having an item and a boss, and the corresponding code looks like the following. In this one here, this is the item class. Nothing fancy about this one. But this one over here, this is now the boss class, and here we are having a problem. Here we can see in the constructor we need to provide an item, and regarding to our Frida approach, it would look like the following. So we want to create a new boss object or a boss instance, and then within the constructor we need to provide this item right now. Our approach for now was the following: getting the class reference and then creating a new instance with the $.new operator, like this one. But now within the $.new operator we need to provide a parameter, and this parameter is not just a string or an integer value, this one is now an object. And to be honest, this is absolutely no rocket science, but I guess we need to talk about this, that you are familiar with this whole approach over here. So what we need to do is we simply need to create a new item instance, and then we can use this instance as a parameter over here. So it would look like the following way: creating a new item, and then we use this as a parameter for our other new operator. Let's have a look how we can do this in our new application over here. Alrighty, let's go. Okay, so here we are at the Ubuntu VM, and now I have prepared a different example. Let's have a look into this one. It's pretty close regarding to the last one, but nevertheless, let's see. So within my downloads directory, we've got now a new application, a Frida inst. Okay, let's install this one. And let's also get the screen of the smartphone over here. So now we're having this one, completely different regarding to this one, right? Absolutely. Let's have a look. So here we are having now the same application, but a little bit different. We've got now a boss over here, and this boss has some HP. If we click on the player, we still lose a life. That's unfortunate, but this is how the game works. Okay, this time if we click on the boss, we can see the boss also has some hit points. And if we click 10 times on this boss, then we can see an item appears. We have now a skill set. Don't ask me what the skill set over here is. I guess it gives you unlimited power, be invincible, invisible, and you can also shoot whole planets right now instead of just fireballs. Okay? So we definitely want to have this item over here. Alright. Most of this new application is just to provide you some new fancy layout that it does not get too boring. But now let's have a look into this one and let's see if we can call a boss instance. Alright? Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is I get this application into a new directory, a Frida inst, with an apps. Oh, we are in the third row right now. So here we're having a Frida inst. Okay, and let's have a look into this one. Alrighty. Have a look in the Android manifest. Here we have it. We can see, okay, still one activity. Let's call this. All right, so here we're having the main activity. Let's see. It looks pretty identical like the last example, but this time there's a little bit of a difference over here. So we can see we are creating a new player object. Here we're having the player instance, and here we're creating now a new boss object, and here we're having the boss instance. This boss object now has an object as a parameter. So the boss constructor is taking an item as a parameter. And this is something we haven't talked about so far. But as already mentioned, no big deal. Let's have a look into the boss class. So here we can see we've got hit points, we've got this item class, item drop, and we've got this power over here. The constructor is now taking an object as a parameter, and then it assigns this object to this instance field over here, item drop. Alright? Okay. Let's do our basic Frida approach and let's see how far we can get with the knowledge we already have. So we are creating or opening a new Visual Studio file. Coinrain, this was This was, I guess, the most funny part in the last video. All right, and let's see. We are switching to JavaScript. We put this on the left, we put this on the right. And now we want to create a new boss object. And therefore we need to get the class reference, and then we need to call the new operator. So creating a new object in Java looks like the following. Boss equals new boss. All right, yes. So now we remember the things we have to do. Let me close this real quick. Okay, so we are still working with Java code, therefore we need our java.perform, and we are providing here our anonymous function. Okay, and now the things we need to do is we need to get a class reference first, in this one, in this class reference. Okay, getting the boss class reference. So we can do this by creating a new one, a new variable over here, boss class reference. And then we are using java.use to get this. .boss. Okay, now we're having the class reference. We need to take this class reference together with the new operator, and then we are assigning this to a new instance. So we are creating a new instance, boss instance. And this one will be now created by using the class reference, which is this one, and then the $new operator. Okay, if we do this right now, it will definitely fail, because here we are providing no parameter, but the constructor of the boss over here requires a parameter. Nevertheless, let's see what Frida is telling us. So we need to create or connect to the smartphone, and now we start the Frida server. So data local temp. Oops. Now let's start this one over here. Okay, here we have our smartphone. The Frida server is now running in the background. Now we take a new terminal and we connect to this process. I do not know the package name right now, so we have to look this up within the Android manifest. Here we have it, com app hacking Frida instance. All right, let's take the smartphone back over here. So Frida-u, and then we can simply attach to this process over here, because we do not want to hook and override things. We want to create a new instance. Therefore, the application can already start up or can be running right now. So let's keep this in foreground, and now let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Here's our error, and I expect something like overload, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked at this right now, so let's see. Yes, exactly. So Frida is telling us, okay, we are using a method, but this method is not being known over here. Frida only has one method, which is this one. And we need to provide this item instance as a parameter. Okay, so therefore we need to create this item by ourselves, and then we can provide it as a parameter. And let's do this. Maybe let's comment this code real quick first. So here we're getting the boss class reference. Okay. And here we are trying to create a new boss instance without parameter, which fails. Alrighty, now let's see. To create a new item instance, I mean, we are here creating a new boss instance. So the steps are absolutely identical. What we need to do is we need to get the reference to this item class, getting the item class reference. So here we're having our item class reference variable, and this one is being assigned with java.use. Now let's see. Here we're having the main activity. Do we have an item? I guess we can double click on this one. Yeah, then we end up over here. All right. So this is the reference to our item class. And we can see this item has a parameter in their constructor. So we need to consider this one over here. But I mean, integer as a parameter, it's absolutely no big deal. So, whoops. So we're getting this class reference dot item. All right. And now we are creating a new item instance. And we can create this by using the class reference dot and then $new. This time we have a parameter from integer, so we can assign a new item power. And let's do it this way. All right. Now we're having this instance, and we can apply this instance right now to this new operator as a parameter. So by doing it in this way, this should work right now. So here we're creating a new item, and here we're getting the boss class reference. Let's switch to this one real quick. The boss class reference, and we're using the new operator now with our newly created instance over here. Nice. This is how we can deal with complex parameters in Frida. Let's see if this one works out. So let's copy this. Maybe let's clear this one. Okay. And now let's see. I paste this code in here. And I mean, I can keep the smartphone in the foreground, but this newly created object will not appear on the screen over here because it has not been bound to this game. Okay? All right. Nevertheless, we should see some ADB logcat outputs. So let's have a look quick. Yes, we should see this output, a new boss has been created. All right. So let's also pull out our ADB logcat. Oops, I suddenly clicked on this player. So here we have our ADB logcat, and now let's observe all this together. Okay, we are creating a new boss instance in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, there was some... Okay, now 1, and let's go. A new boss has been created. Nice. And we can also see we have no error over here. So this has worked out. Amazing. So this is how we can deal with, more complex parameters. So in case if you're not just dealing with integer values like over here, we can now also create new instances, and then we can use them to, call more complex methods. Alrighty? Okay. Freaking awesome. Let's create some more bosses over here. Does it stack or? All right. This might not work right now, but nevertheless, these bosses are being created. You know what? Let's find out if they really exist. Let's scan the application memory for these boss instances right now. So we can do this. I close this one because it's a little bit disturbing. I mean, we can do it directly afterwards over here, or no, let's trigger it, let's trigger it separated from this one over here. So java.perform. Now let's see if we can find these newly created boss instances. Okay, so this time we need to scan the application memory over here, and we have to identify these instances. Therefore, we have to use java.choose, and here we are having our class reference. Sorry, the mouse on the right. And here we're having our callbacks. Okay, class reference, this one, we can copy paste this from here. And this is our boss class. This is now the class where we want to find all these instances. And here we have to provide our callbacks. So double click, curly brackets, enter. Then we do not mess up all these brackets. Okay, we are having an onMatch function. Here we are having the instance if one has been found, and we are printing this out. A new boss instance has been identified. Okay, and then comma, the second callback on complete. And this one is being called, this one is being called when the application memory has been finished scanning. So done scanning the app memory for boss instances. Okay, so I'm not sure if this one here is grammatically correct, but I mean, it's a debug output, so for me it's fine. Okay, let's remove those spaces. Yes, this looks a little bit better. Okay, so now let's take this to our Frida command line over here, and let's see if we can find all these hidden boss instances. So let's see. There we have it. Yes. So the ADB logcat might lag a little bit regarding to the output, because here we can see we've got a lot of boss instances right now. And we can also see which boss instance, for example, has the certain power level. If we go back, I mean, this is not required right now, but it might be helpful. So the original boss has this power level set to 9000. Therefore, let's see if we can identify the original boss in here. we can do this by simply using an if statement. If instance dot power is equals 9000, then we can say, yeah, let's copy this one. The original boss instance has been identified. Then we can delete this one over here. Otherwise, we are identifying a random boss instance. Yep, and this should work. Unless, did we have provided, no, okay. If we would have provided 9000 as power over here, then okay, this wouldn't have worked. But there should be only one boss instance with this value available. So let's see. All right, here we have a different output. This one is the original boss instance. So all between these shady hidden boss instances, we've got this one over here. This is our original one. Okay, amazing. Let's finish commenting the script over here. I will fast forward this and then let's have a recap on the slides. All right? Okay. Okay, so here we have the script commented. And by the way, I mean, we didn't use this instance, but of course we can now also access all these fields. And for example, we can set this boss instance to have hit points into this value. But, I mean, this boss instance doesn't occur on our screen over here, therefore it's absolutely useless. Alright? Okay, let's recap this real quick on the slides. Okay, so here we have the steps we need to perform if we want to have an instance as a parameter. I mean, it's that easy. We are just creating a new instance of the type of this parameter, and then we are providing this newly created instance as our parameter. That's all. These are the steps over here. 1 and 2, this one creating a new item instance, and 3 creating a new boss instance which has an item as a parameter. We are just using the newly created ones over here. Alright? Okay, perfect. In the next video we will learn how we can provide an existing instance as a parameter. But from the things we have seen so far, this might be also not that complicated anymore, right? Absolutely. Nevertheless, let's talk about this in the next video. I see you there.